No. No.
Is that not a word? Why have I added that
No.
to the song?
Not
Anyway,
mine. No.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another 40 to Level 1. I am one of your hosts, Alistair Kennedy. And here with me, as always, the former Twilight Princess of all games, the current Twilight Princess of YouTube, the Uncharted 3 denier himself, the man of many names, but we just call him one, Andy. How are you?
Go away.
Have I just got that song stuck in your head?
Yeah, I went and listened to it just before we started, or
I was-
like the chorus anyway. Like,
I was honestly
that's
sure
so-
it was where the grass is green, go west, where the air is clean. I'm sure it is. Or here's the other option. There was a advert commercial on it years ago with a kind of made up version of it, and that was the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because in my head it says where the grass is green, where the air is clean. It could have been for air freshener or Lenore.
very possibly, but that is not the lyrics in the chorus. The chorus lyrics are
where the
Go
grass
west.
is green, go
life.
west.
Life is peaceful there.
where the
Go west in
air
the
is clean.
open air. Open air. That's kind of air is clean. Go west, baby, you and me. Go west. This is our destiny. Go west where the skies are blue.
No.
Go west. This is what we're gonna do. There's no green skies in Go West. None
Where
at all.
the
No
air-
green grass. No
The
green grass.
air is clean. Let's see where that's from, because I'm not good enough to make up lyrics like that.
I mean, it's kind of similar to like in the open air.
No.
But yeah, go west.
Okay, so I didn't mix these songs up because Paradise City's where the grass is green, the girls are pretty, but I'm almost sure. Can anybody watching this show, I'm specifically putting this out to long time listener, first time lover, Science Pie, Mr. G himself, was there an advert in this country, I'm talking maybe when we were teenagers, maybe 20s, and it was played a lot? Do you know what I'm talking about? Does that ring bells with you? There's definitely an advert that used Go West with its own lyrics, and it said, where the grass is green, go west, where the air is clean. I'm sure it
And
is.
surely it would be like it would have to mention the product somewhere in the advert as well.
It maybe did, but that's stuck in my head too much. That's the definitive version of Go West now for me.
Yeah.
I don't know
Also,
why.
the date today is crazy.
You can read it the same forwards, backwards, and upside down.
Is
Did
it-
you
which
know
is
that?
insane. Yeah, I think it's only one time ever. One time ever in the AD dates that's happened before, which would be the one, all the ones. And then the next one won't be.
We'll be dead because it'll be in the
Yeah.
year
Oh,
3000.
we'll
The only people that will
we'll
see
be
it's
all dead.
busted because they've been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but we all live underwater, and
We live
it's
underwater,
it's
yeah.
it's bad that I know busted lyrics over. What
No,
is
no,
it?
it won't be because you can't get the 33rd of March, so it can't be.
But you can get the third of the third. 033.
In the year, I suppose 2030.
2033.
30.
3030 will get it as well, so it'll be
Yeah.
0303 3033.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
the
yeah.
date just looked fucking mad when I
No,
said it.
no.
Like, oh my god, I can't even. Like, there's too many twos today. Like, it's just
Two. Well, I
even in 4 minutes time, it's fucking 22 on that date. Like, that's just oh my god,
yeah.
too many twos. The world will implode.
So today, like, obviously, you know, I use my Razer Siren for the podcast, but I've got my Elgato Wave 3. Well, my arm clamps now at my new desk that I got from my work. Oh, what a revelation, because I had to work through 2 videos today that I could hear echo, and background removal is just sound. I like video editing, and I can do sound editing, but see, because we used to edit this show like a lot, like so we had to increase certain people's volumes. Remember, we had to comb through it for people with bad mics and up their volumes.
Yeah.
So it felt like that all over again. I was importing stuff to Audacity, bringing it back, and I was like, no, I don't want to be doing this. So I said, look, desk's great, but I need to go back into town. So I drove back home, and I got my arm clamp, so my Elgato's literally here, and it's smooth as butter. Like, don't get me wrong, this mic's like still a beast. Like, the Razer Studio Siren Pro, it's probably more than I need to do this, but the There's something nice about the Gato. I just like the Elgato ever since I heard it on Kind of Funny. Like, see when I heard them using it, that was it.
Yeah.
And I recommended it to Fraser, and he uses it now too. It's such a good mic, and it was like half the price of what this mic's actually worth. Because this one was like $250 retail. I think I got it for like $90 because it was labelled wrong in a shop I used to work in. I was like, okay, no one knows what this is, and they gave me the shop mount and stuff with it free, which retails for like 40 quid. I was like, okay. That was a franchise though, so they didn't really know. But yes, we are back. And introduce yourself. Yes, you just went into a rant about Go West.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm Andy.
Yeah, he's Andy.
Here as always. Yeah.
Uncharted 3 denier.
Going west.
Uncharted 2 liar. Going west. So yes, we are back yet again for another episode. Thank you very much for joining me. So I got news, more gaming news. I'm now fully on the team for the Xbox Hub.
Woo!
You can see me on their page of writers. So I've got a few articles up there. I've got another assignment, so I should have another article up within the week. And yeah, pretty good guys over there. So if you want more Xbox focused news, because I know we do a bit of everything here, check out the Xbox Hub. It's literally the xboxhub.com. Pretty good site. They do news, reviews, previews, all that sort of good stuff. And yeah, if you want to hear what I write, then it's there. And anything that isn't good enough, you can find 40 to Level 1. So yeah, I was planning this week to do some more videos for the show, short form videos, but the planning stage of those, like, I need to focus more on doing that. I know it's a lot on top of work, 2 kids, doing this show. This show isn't really work, this show's just relaxing, but like, short form's more work than what we do here. I mean, we work our asses off for this show behind the scenes. But like, I do want to do some more short form stuff, and I have got many notes, and some of them are unfinished. And by notes, I don't just mean notes. I mean, I've got pages of what I want to do, and it's like, what to do first? When have I got the time to do this? Because literally, I work from home, but I work in a different home from my own home, and to get peace from the kids, because this is in their playroom, and I just can't after work because I need to come back home, and then my wife usually works nights now to help with childcare, so I come back and we just tag each other in and out more or less. Right, see you in a bit, and
I have this as well.
Yeah, so I just so I just can't. I don't have time when I come home. It's get the kids bathed, get the kids sitting for bed, get them their snacks. Some nights I'm home earlier and it's get them dinner as well. So hopefully I'll be able to manage something. But it all just depends on the weekends, and the thing is, at the weekends I like to relax and play games. And recently I've been reviewing games, which is, as you know, Andy, different from actually playing a game. So, talking of which, I'll just kick things off with a small one, and if you want to hear more about it, again, shameless self-promotion, the xboxhub.com. I played Ziggurat 2, which is a weird name, and I actually had to look up the dictionary definition, and I thought I would include it in my review because I didn't have a clue what the name meant.
Do you know the only thing that word means to me?
What does that mean, Andy?
Red dwarf, up the ziggurat, lickety split.
Ah.
That's the only thing it means to me.
Is that the same thing? Is that the actual quote? Are you sure it's not where the air is clean?
Oh no, it's definitely not. It's up the ziggurat, lickety split, and it's Rimmer says it.
Yeah,
and he's talking about basically getting promotion so he can become an admiral.
Yep.
That's the only thing Ziggurat means to me, and I assume it means you can tell me more, but I assume that it means that getting like up the ladder or like promoted.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. So it's kind of like a temple, like a building. So I don't know if it's a pyramid, and he's talking about that. It's kind of pyramid shape. You know, a temple with a square top, like you see them a lot in Sonic games, kind of like that. Was the basic description of it. However, in Ziggurat 2, it's a prison. And do you know what? Everything about this game says no to me, Andy. It's not full roguelike. I wouldn't describe it as roguelike because it's not like hard. It's not like fuck and put it as a start. But none of your progress carries over except like XP to upgrade just things. And it's a fantasy game, Andy. So I'm like, no thanks. But I give it. Well, check out my review if you want to know what I scored it. But I really enjoyed it. It feels like, you know how you see a lot of Doom mods, like original Doom mods, it feels almost like a mod for Doom 2016. It's kind of cel-shaded, but not really. It's a first-person arena kind of shooter, and the movement feels like original Quake or Unreal Tournament, like it's fast-paced. Okay. And the cool thing was, like, I was like, how's this going to feel like if this is a shooter and I've got a wand? And it feels really good. The wand feels like a basic pistol. Then you get like a staff with lightning bolts, and it feels more like your machine gun. You're spraying out like that. And I'm like, I've played it since I finished my review. Like, I enjoyed this game a lot. So I don't think it's a dear win. I think this is maybe a £20-15 style game, and it's definitely worth that. Like, this is a game that I would have never picked up if I wasn't reviewing it, and I would recommend it, absolutely. Ziggurat 2. So basically the story is there's a prison. The Ziggurat's a prison in this, and it's kept to house all the monsters and bad things in the world. And there's a civil war of how it's meant to be run by the wizards, and the Ziggurat breaks and all the monsters get out. And each level, basically, you have to go in, clear out areas, find hidden places. There's basic platforming, which I hate in first-person shooters, but it's limited enough in this to be okay. Like, I really enjoyed it, like the character designs and everything. Like, it feels like almost kind of Warcrafty, kind of like that cartoony but fantasy look, yeah. And I really enjoyed the game, and I'm totally surprised by it. There's loads to do in it. Unlockable characters, because you gain more wizards to your cause as you progress. You start with 2, each have got the different spells and things to do. But this game feels like Quake or Unreal Tournament. It doesn't feel like what it should feel like. So I'm loving this. Like, I think I made it a quote of a Rambo style Ron Weasley is how I describe myself in my review, which is the only way I can describe it. But like, some of the enemies feel like the eye things from Doom or trolls from Fable and stuff. Like, really good game. So if you see it or it goes on sale and you fancy something different and you like kind of Quake and shooting games, pick it up. Really enjoyed it. So I played that. I finished the game this week, but we'll talk about that because it will link into your Going West. And
West,
where the grass is. I can't not sing it. It must have been a song. It just goes. It sounds like it goes.
You know that in the Forbidden West there is no green grass.
No.
Oh, there is only brown.
I played more Pokemon, Andy. Like, obviously, as you know, I finished Pokemon Arceus. I still don't know how to say it. It's either Arceus, which sounds wrong, or Arceus, which I don't know. And I had picked up Diamond and Pearl. I've picked up Pearl, whatever it's called, Shining, Brilliant Pearl, whatever it is, to get the extras for the Legends, Pokemon Legends. And I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a play. And like I said last week, I was enjoying it. And yeah, I'm still really enjoying it, mostly for the fact that I'm like, oh cool, this is that place from Legends. It feels like, it is the future of that world. And I know the Pokemon from Legends now. I've got, it's the old style though, so it's like gyms, mountains, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, go to the cave, go to the gym, get your bike, get your fishing rod, and it's fine for a change. It's mindless. I can stick on like a podcast on YouTube or like 42 Level 1 right here, which I subscribe to, obviously, and you don't need to put the notification bell on because we're here every Tuesday if you want to watch live, and if not, you'll get a video every Wednesday. So I usually stick something on and play Pokemon. It's absolutely fine, but then Fraser told me I need to get Pokemon Home, so I downloaded this, and I'm like, he goes, move all your Pokemon over, and I'm like, and then I sent them all over, because I still play Pokemon Gold now and then. Like, I barely play games on my phone. I was just playing it because Lexi likes it as well, and I'm like, I sent all my Pokemon from there, and I'm like, fuck, you can't move them, but you can move them back to the main games, but seeing Pokemon Home so people don't cheat because they want you to pay, you can't send Pokemon back. So I'm like, I've just sent my main team that I've been using in gym battles, so I've had to like go out and catch other Pokemon and make them walk with me, and I don't walk really these days, so like, I'm not getting any like candies or anything. And now I'm like, okay, so I basically have got all the Kanto ones because of Pokemon Go, which is the original and best ones. I want to just fill it out, and like, the way to do it, the future way to do it isn't in the games, it's play the games and move them into Pokemon Home, so you've got a full Pokedex, and Fraser's done it, so it's a living dex, he calls it, and you add one of each Pokemon. I'm like, nah, never mind that noise, I just want to complete each entry. So it works really well, this Pokemon Home. So you go in and you link your games, like Let's Go, Sword and Shield, and it's not on the new ones because Fraser says they never put it on the new ones until like 6 months or 5 months after, so that people don't cheat and just swap all the Pokemon in. So it's coming to Diamond and Pearl pretty soon, and then it'll be Legends, he says, in the summer probably. So I've linked let's go in Sword and Shield, and as you know, in Sword and Shield I've got 35 Pokemon in my entire playthrough, so I moved them in, and it's just becoming addictive because there's challenges and everything in this Pokemon Home. You get it on your phone, you can get it on your Switch, and it's just like, right, I need to get them all. I don't care about what the games are, it's Pokemon. My opinion of Pokemon still stands. The old games suck. Legends is the future, it's brilliant, but because of this Pokemon Home thing, I'm like, I just want to have them all. Like, I just need to tick all these boxes now and have my entries, because there's no game now where you can have them all, because obviously they done away with the transferring from the older gens into Sword and Shield because of models. It was a load of crap. They just couldn't bother programming them, and then Legends doesn't have it either, so the only way to actually own them all is in Pokemon Home. So I'm like, I need to do this now, I need to do it. And the cool thing is, Fraser was like, oh, but what about the old ones on DS? Are you going to buy them? I went, no, they're stupid price. And I checked the RPG cart that I had got for Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. It's got every DS Pokemon game there, and I'm like, ciao. So he says there's issues with that as well, but he'll be able to sort it out for me. He's the Pokemon legend, Fraser.
The Pokemon Master.
The Master, yeah, whatever you call him. So that's what I've been playing through a lot. Is I judge it on the gym badges, and in the old games there's 8. So I'm about halfway because I'm going for my 5th gym badge, because you do the 8 and then you fight the Elite 4 or something, and then that's it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm kind of glad because I got it on like a sale at £30. They were kind of trying to push it, for the new game coming out. I thought £30 is not bad. There's still decent trade in on it, but I'm glad I'm enjoying it. And it'll be another game to tick off my list, because I wasn't sure of what to play this week. Because I had my review, and once that was done, I was like, what to play? And I did manage to finish a game this week. So that was. It wasn't worth the time that I put into it, is what I'll say. I don't feel rewarded at the end. Like, the lies that I was fed, I don't blame you. Like, you fight for the games you love, that's fine, but it doesn't even scratch the surface of you lying to me about Uncharted 3 for all the years. But it was Horizon, the first one, whatever it's called.
Zero Dawn.
Yes, zero fun. Zero colour, Zero Dawn, the game. It's either snow or brown in that game for the whole. I think it took me about 25 hours, 20 hours maybe. Does that sound about right for the game? I ignored most side quests, apart from the ones with Mohawk. The Mohawk guy, he's the only character I cared about in the game. And I went, do you know what? I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to get the new one. And I finished the game, and I went, I feel empty inside. That experience hollowed my soul. I just don't like the game, and that's okay, and it's okay that Andy likes it as well, because I'm going to let him go on about the new one. But Horizon Zero Dawn seems to have everything that I should like: dinosaurs, open world, robots, cool movement where you can climb, kind of like Tomb Raider, Uncharted. Bow and arrows, so 2012 it can stay away from every game. I wasn't too fussed with the bow and arrow. I actually. What you want, cat? I actually liked more the I don't even know the names of them. The traps. Is it? What is this cat doing? Look.
Yeah, like the trip casting and stuff. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I basically like just tripping them up and then using my spear to poke at them, and I just didn't enjoy it. And like, see, by the end, I'm like, I'm using the same ammo as I did at the beginning. So how come I'm taking down those big birds with just normal arrows now, just because Aloy decide like the bow and arrow is no more powerful. Sorry, tell a lie, the bow is. The arrows are the exact same.
Aloy has the muscles.
Yeah, I just.
Do you know what? Because she's leveled up so much.
I'll say this about it, right? My biggest problem was it was one of those games where a lot of the story, and I know you didn't mind it, you had to find. Like, it told you the basic story, but to get the details you had to see if you could just pick up those audio journals. But see, having to go and scan them with your detective vision every time, it's like, come on, just let me push X and pick them up, like, or square or whatever. Like, why do I have to look at them and go every time? So the story was fine, but this is what I've said about the game before, and I still stand by it now. I finished it. If they had made this more like Uncharted yet, but Last of Us, where it was more open world but focused with cool set pieces, I think I could have liked this game. Not loved it, but I think I could have probably bought the sequel, because I'm like, wow, that was a refined experience. Still could have made it a 20-30 hour adventure. I think a lot of the open world elements were very tick the box to be an open world game elements, like, hi, I need help, I need you to go and look over here, oh no, look, a big robot's got my sister, whatever will we do, can you help me beat it? And then it's like, here's 3 raspberries, like, thanks for the help. And I'm like, what? No, I don't want them. So I hate games that do this as well, and this isn't just a dig at Horizon. I kept running out of space for items, and I'm like, I can't expand anymore, and it's like, I don't want to drop this shit. I need to pick up this core because it doesn't last forever. I've just killed a cool boss, so now I have to decide what I'm going to throw away, or I'm going to have to craft stuff I don't want just so I don't waste items. And I'm like, just give me bottomless bags back forever, please. And that's Pokemon Legends. That was one of its problems as well. Pokemon Go, I get it because it wants money, but like in Horizon, I'm like, why do you keep picking up crap? And I'm like, right, okay, so that's for money.
I will tell you that they fixed that issue in the new game.
That's fine, that's great. But anyway, in this game that I played, they have not fixed it. And like, the whole point of a sequel is to fix things. So I'd imagine it is refined, but I know it's still open world. But I know it will never go this way, but 100% think that I would, me personally, probably I'm in the minority, I would have enjoyed the game a lot more if it was a more refined, focused journey. Focus, see what I did there? Focus is a Bluetooth device. It's like the things old taxi drivers used to use, except a devil machine can hear her through it. And like, that was my problem with the story. It's like, there wasn't any twists. It was like, oh, at the start, you look a lot like this woman, go out into the world and find out why you look like this woman. And I'm like, she's a clone. Like, if you've seen any sci-fi film ever, she's a clone. She's a clone, she's a copy, she's some sort of, like... And guess what? She was a clone of the woman at the start. And I'm like... So I have to be surprised, and I joked about it with Andy the last 2 weeks when I've been playing this, I have to be surprised at all them discovering, like, machines bad, humans relied on them for everything, and it killed the world. That I'm supposed to be surprised because they think like cavemen. Nah. There was nothing shocking in the story.
The big twist for the player, I think, with that game is that you're actually on Earth. And
that was not even a twist either. I just assumed, okay, things went to shit at Sith. Like, before that, I read anything about it.
I just assumed it was some other planet, like, until it got to the point where I was like, oh, this is, like, kind of Earthy. Because you don't, like, it definitely starts off at the beginning of the game where you wouldn't know it was Earth.
I did.
But you wouldn't know it was Earth.
I did.
But
do you know how, Andy? Do you know why? Because I've been playing games for over 30 years now. I've been watching sci-fi movies for almost the same amount of time now. I'm not stupid. This wasn't the first video game I ever played. So I just went, oh cool, things must have went to shit and this is what society is now. I was right. And I wouldn't say I'm particularly the smartest man in the world, but I mean, it doesn't take a difficult mental battle to get to that conclusion that this is Earth. I mean, look at Last of Us. Did you think you were on another planet because it was overgrown by that time jump? No, you didn't, because you just knew things have went to shit. So I put together, look, I was like Sherlock in his mind palace going, oh, it's human. Oh, what has happened here? See if it was actual dinosaurs and creatures, fair enough. But it wasn't. It was robots. And who makes robots? Skynet, or humans, or Elon Musk, who knows, or Russia. I don't know where they come from. But, well, I hear about bots coming from Russia. I just assume it's robots. So, like, at the end of the day, like, it was zero surprise. That it's right to have zero in its name, because it had zero impact in like my top 100 games. I would say that 100%, zero impact. It's not because it controlled bad. Controls were fine. It's just because it wasn't even the open world was empty. It was just the things I was doing, or the what's her? Is she in the Brave? Nora. They called her Nora. And she's like, Nora, come here, I've got a quest. And every time you went, it's always like some bullshit, and it's like, do it yourself. Like, sometimes it's literally go out the front of the town and pick me up something. I'm like, there's not even a robot here. This is just a fetch quest, and I was just getting sick of them by the end. The only quest line that I did enjoy was helping out my pal with the Mohican, because I liked the voice actor. I liked how he was kind of a drunk, a sloppy guy, and you didn't really know. And his story unfolded. I was like, I want to play as him. Like, give me the option. Like, see if it's like Aloy or I can't even remember his name. I want to play as him, because it turned out that his sister had been captured, and you went and rescued his sister from a sort of like bandit camp, and when you went in, she'd been tortured by like a sound machine, like was blasting, and she died. And it turned out that she'd stayed there to stop giving up the information on where his team was, because he was like the mercs for the king, the Sun King, who looks Egyptian guy, and I really loved that. And then he kind of had a total character arc of, oh cool, look, now I'm at peace with my sister, you've helped me, you've done something for me, I believe you now, because nobody believes Aloy because they don't know what this Bluetooth device is, and it's like, so I'm going to be the King's Guard sort of thing again, and I'm like, this is cool, like, this is awesome, and I want to know more. And then it's like, I'm sure I'll see you around, and it's like, you don't see him again to the final fight on the roof of the thing, and it's like, even the final fight wasn't, like, it's not a difficult game by any means, because see the final fight when it was like, guard the gates, check the defences, I'm like, oh shit, and it wasn't, you just stood still, and you had this sort of boof, like in Gears of War, the mortar, where you put it in the ground, it goes boof, and you just had to fire that a few times, and then it's like, fight the guy who was like, put you in the cage at the arena from the Clone Wars, it's like, fight him. I didn't even realise I'd beat him, I was just killing these guards, and it went into a cutscene, I'm like, oh, that was him. So, I didn't care about the villain. The Devil Machine thing, yeah, fine. There was another interesting character, and it was the guy from Quantum Break. I can't remember his name.
Silence, I think his name is. Something like that.
He, at the end, when the magic pixie dust came out of, like the genie in Aladdin, when it came flying out, and he caught it back in the lamp, like Jafar, and he's like walking off to his Cave of Wonders, but this time it's a big spider robot, and it's like, oh, is he going to activate that big robot? And I'm like, that's not enough to spend 60 quid in a game, don't. And I turned it off. So, I mean, can I say it's a bad game? No. Was it boring? For me, yes. If you're going in and you're an actual caveman, and have never seen a sci-fi movie or played a video game ever, then wow, boy, are you in for surprises?
Yeah.
Spoilers that it's on Earth.
Earth. Oh my god, my man is blown.
I mean, it is what it is. I would be wrong to say I will never play the sequel, because I found myself playing many games I've said I'll never play, but I will say this, I will play it when it's in a severe sale and it's like a complete edition. I'm in no rush to play the new game. It will need to come at a dry period for the consoles, because there's so much coming out that I just don't have time to fit. It wasn't even a long game, and I think the new one, from what I've seen review-wise, it's the same, about 20-30 hours, depending on how much you get invested in the the side quest. Sorry, I keep saying brown for this game. Lovely shades of brown, like, I mean, I don't even think Augustus Gloop seen that many shades of brown when he fell in Wonka's River, I believe was something I said to you this week. The colour palette isn't very good in it, like, all jokes aside, the colour palette is dulled, subdued, and I get it's to highlight some of the monsters or robots or whatever, I can't remember their names. They're basically army robots that went nuts and stuff. And then you've got the Matrix caves, what the fuck, the Matrix Revolution caves, where it's like rebuilding something. I'm like, I honestly don't give a shit what's happening here. Like, I don't. I've done 2 or 3 of them, and I know you're meant to do them all to find out more story. I'm like, why do I have to go looking for story? Just tell me the fucking story. I was sickened to death with it with Assassin's Creed, where it's like, oh, do you want to know story? Read some scrolls and go on a cave. No, tell me the fucking story. It's why I bought the game. Like I said, if this was refined, I would have enjoyed it. If this was more Last of Us, which is semi-open world, Last of Us 2 especially, more so, if they'd done it that way, and it would have been more condensed story, but they could have still done side quests, because all you're fucking doing is going out the town and picking 3 flowers for Jezebel in the fucking market. Oh, do you want to colour your dress? No, stop asking me every time I come past. Take no for an answer, lady. I don't give a shit what colour I'm wearing. I'm dressed like this. I've got a fucking peacock in my head. I've got some crazy beads and a grass skirt round my waist. Like, no, I don't give a shit what colours I'm wearing. So, it wasn't for me, but I finished it. The new one, hopefully they've refined some of the systems that were in the last one. I'm sure Andy's going to tell us all about that. But I'm kind of glad my schedule's cleared and I've got something to tip me over till Elden Ring, because I can't start something now, not something fresh, aside from games I'm going to review. But I need my time focused on Elden Ring, because the more I see trailers, I'm like, oh, this actually looks great. Like, I much prefer the world design, the creature design, than I ever did in Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls. It was a big bit too, is it high fantasy they call it, dark fantasy, whatever it is. I prefer this sort of Lord of the Rings looking fantasy, which this does look like. And I played the beta, as you all know. I talked about it in the show before, and I loved the beta. I thought it was great. And the fact that I can co-op it with Andy, that's fantastic. And hopefully we'll be able to both jump on, but I'm definitely going to save it so that that's a thing we play through together, because I think we'll get more of a chance of dying slightly less rather than finishing it. But I'm definitely going to check it out on Friday, because I pre-ordered it ages ago. And I'm pretty sure there'll be some sort of mission or boss at least I have to fight before it says co-op's now available in open world, because these games tend to keep you confined to teach you the basics and then let you loose. So I'll definitely stick it in. If it says co-op's available from the start, then I'll turn it instantly back off and then play Tony Hawk's instead. Did play a bit of Tony Hawk's, not too much to say there because it's not a new game, but I'm glad that I've got Pokemon and to keep me ticking over. I don't know what it is. It's Peril. I don't know what the name tag they gave it. It looks kind. Do you know what they've basically took the engine that they had for Link's Awakening and applied it to this Pokemon. And the thing is, it looks chibi and I'm not a fan of it, but it looks timeless. Like, this game's going to last the test of time. It's not pixelated or anything. It's going to be one of those games people like Leo, my son, could play in 20 years and go, this game's aged really well. And I'll be like, yes, son, yes, it has. But you know what I mean, like, it's one of those timeless Nintendo games where it's going to stand the test of time because of the art style they've gave it. But yes, I think that was about everything that I played this week, because I've been playing like a lot of Pokemon. I can't think of anything else I played at the weekend. If it springs to mind, I will gladly let you know. I went to play the Nintendo Switch sports thing. You're not allowed to talk about it, even though I would if I'd played it. Just saying right now, like an NDA for an open beta. Come on. So that's just ridiculous to me. So I went to play it, and then it's like, you need Joy-Cons for this, and I'm like, I don't want to use Joy-Cons, and I forgot it was motion control, and I was lying down at the time, and I was being too lazy, and it's like, I'm not getting up to get my Joy-Cons to start moving about. It's too late at night. And I went, the next Sunday I forgot all about it because the kids we were just playing and I had too much stuff to do with the kids. But yeah, Switch Sports, I'm going to get it anyway because it's Wii Sports. It's bowling in it, and there's multiplayer bowling. There's like the bowling where it's, what do we call it? It's like knockout bowling, so it's like you bowl and like say me, you, Fraser, and everybody gets on. It's like if I get like 8 and you get 9, I get knocked out, and then it goes until there's only one less standing. That's fun as fuck because the Wii never had online Wii Sports. Nope. So I'm so excited for it, and it's a must buy. I don't. We've got a chat obviously with the guys, and it's like, I don't know why there was people complaining about it, and even you were like, no, that's an essential purchase for your Switch along with Smash, Mario Kart. You have to get sports
unless you have a Switch Lite.
Obviously.
Then it's a no.
But it wasn't a Switch Lite owner that was making that comment.
No. But yeah, I think
but even with a Switch Lite, right, here's the thing. There's some misleading articles out there, and I'll just put this out there. It says not compatible with Switch Lite. That is true. However, if you have Joy-Cons and pair them with the Switch Lite, it will work with it. You just need to put it on the table and use the Joy-Cons with it as a controller, and it will work. So all these articles saying it won't work with Switch Lite, they're lying. It's clickbait. It will work. You just need to have a Joy-Con.
Do you know what? Do what I find is interesting to me? I think this will make me put the Switch back on the TV.
Well, you need to really, because
I mean, you could play it off TV.
You could, but it's not going to be great.
No, this game will make me put the Switch back.
My one issue.
I need to use the dock again.
I put this out. I
need to buy Joy-Cons.
I put this out on Twitter. They need to release a Wiimote Joy-Con because the trigger at the back of the Joy-Con is not good enough for me. It's too small. They need to bring out an adult, like at the bottom of the Wiimote, it was a proper trigger.
Plastic bit, yeah.
So just release a classic Wii remote. Honestly, bring it out. I'll buy it. Bluetooth Wiimote. I'll pay 30-40 quid for it easily, no bother. Just give me it. You're doing it for N64.
They probably fucking will.
I'll get that.
Like, because people love that, yeah.
It's so much for the bowling. Like, I remember when I used to work at I don't care if I say it, I don't work there anymore. So CEX, I used to work for it, and like every time a Wii came in, I haven't tested all day because I've been doing merch. I'm like, I'm testing, where's the Wii Sports? And at one point, me and Cameron just had the Wii Sports disc sitting up. So it was like, get the bowling on? Yeah. Need to make sure 2 Joy-Cons work with this though, because both Joy-Cons need this. I love Wii bowling, so good.
Wii bowling is good fun.
So the fact they're bringing it back for this is great. But yes, again, that was all I played. So, as the title says, Andy went west, never eat shredded wheat. So, in the game that I've just finished, on the east, Andy never got to it, is the frozen bit, and I didn't bother with it. It's like the frozen tundra. I don't know what
Frozen
it is.
Wild.
Yeah, so
Frozen Wild,
that's on the east, so I'm guessing this game you go west where the grass is green, where the air is clean. How's it been for you as a big, huge, super fan of the series? You, mother?
It's been good, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet because I need to talk about one other game because it'll be shorter.
I gave you the perfect segue.
I know, but
you ruined it.
Forgot that I had another game to talk about. So I did play another game. That was brand new game came out on, I think it was Thursday. Straight into Game Pass day one on PC. Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh, I didn't know you never said you played it. I'm sure you said your PC would go on fire if you played it, or was that G?
G said that, and I assumed the same, that my PC would go on fire because my PC doesn't meet the minimum spec for the game, right? Because my graphics card is not good enough. It's not good enough.
You should have just asked me to borrow the laptop to play. Like I'm really underusing this.
but I managed to get it to run, right? And I just booted it up and I'll download it. 100 gigabytes this game is. 100 gigabytes, which is enormous for this type of game.
For an RTS,
I know.
It's huge. Yeah.
For an RTS, fucking enormous. I'm like, okay, well, sure, 100 gigs, fine. Downloaded it and then went to load it, and it just went loading. And the bar took, not joking, over 5 minutes to load the game, and then I got into the game in the menu. I'm like, cool.
I just had a note there that I don't believe it was a full 5 minutes because your times are always exaggerated whenever a game's got a loading screen.
Well, this is by far the most egregious load I've ever had in any game ever, and it's not the fault of the game at all, right? I put that out there, not the fault of the game whatsoever, because my PC is underpowered to be able to play this game. It shouldn't be able to play it. My PC shouldn't be able to play this game. Your laptop will play this no problem. But anyway, so went to do the tutorial because I heard the tutorial was quite good. And again, another 5 minute load time, where I was literally sitting watching YouTube videos, mucking about whilst the game is loading, just sitting there waiting for it to load. Eventually it loaded, showed me the intro cutscene for that. And then got into the sort of hub world, and then got into battles. Again, battles 5 minute load times for me. Open world, once you're in there, that's it, loaded, cool, fine. But then it'll load you in and out of battles, which are 5 minutes. The graphics on my system are awful, so bad. It looks like a PS1 game, but it plays it right. So that is entirely the fault of my system, and I'm sure that if I had a better graphics card and a more up-to-date PC, it would run great. Because the actual gameplay works pretty much spot on, which I couldn't believe, to be honest, because I'm so far below the min spec. And
see, that's a testament to it. It's a testament that it'll run in so low spec, but what's poor about the entire thing is that it's very clearly badly space optimized if it's 100 gigabytes.
100 gigabytes, yeah, it seems crazy.
Way too much. Call of Duty's that size.
Yeah, I don't know why it's that big. I'm assuming there's a lot of cutscenes in the game, and that's probably what takes up all the space.
Even so, 100 gig, there needs to be over 100
gigs is a lot.
100 cutscenes, that's insane.
Yeah, but so I've only played the first 2 battles of the game so far. Which
Quantum Break was only 100 gig, and it had an entire season of a TV show with multiple endings. That's just bad optimization, especially for a PC title.
Yeah. But I've only played the first 2 battles of the prologue so far, and both really, really fun. I think they introduced the mechanics really well, and it's very simply explained. Anybody could understand and play this game, even if they've never played a RTS or any kind of strategy game before ever. And I think it would look great on a decent PC. So yeah, so far, really fun.
Do you need to have played Warhammer 1 and 2 to understand the story, or is it a new story?
Nope, brand new story.
Well, that's pretty good. They shouldn't have called it Warhammer 3 then, because that puts people off. They should have just called it Total Warhammer with subtitle. In my mind, if it's not a sequel, that's what you do.
It does and it doesn't, but these games are the story's not really the focus of it, because there's a campaign, but it's you kind of tell your own story within the campaign, like all the Warhammer type stuff is, even if you're playing a tabletop game or whatever. This one they've got a sort of narrative in there for this tutorial and stuff, and they've got the overworld has shit going on where there's chaos coming and stuff, but for the main story you kind of make up your own story as you go along.
Is there any chaos control in the game?
You can play as chaos for sure.
No, but definitely. Is there chaos control?
What do you mean?
Well, Shadow the Hedgehog has got chaos control. Chaos control.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I really need to get an upgraded PC so that I can play the game properly.
Is it anything like Warcraft?
Yeah, so like Warcraft, obviously in the original ones, you had to build stuff in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, they're the
so
best
you
ones.
you don't do that the same way. Like when you're in the battle, it's like you've taken your army and you've gone out to a battle and you're fighting against another army. So it's just whatever troops you bring against whatever troops the enemy brings, and you fight, right?
Okay.
But you can build up and buy your own. You've got a base basically, where you build up the base and you can buy troops and stuff like that at the base. And obviously, you start off being able to have access to like the shit troops, and then as you expand the base, you get like more kind of rare troops and more expensive guys and stuff.
It's kind of like Command and Conquer and Warcraft in a way. It's probably more complex because it looks more
kind
complex.
of, but like it's more like because you're in like an open kind of hub world. It's almost like Civ type stuff, not as complicated as Civ, but like you're building up and you're researching and like you're doing stuff like that, and then you're going out to battle with your army and you're getting gold and stuff to take back to your like home and then upgrading stuff. Kind of like that. But
would I like
cool.
it? Like
it's a cool game. I don't think you would like it. I don't think you would. It's fantasy as well.
I love Warcraft 1, 2 and 3.
Like this game has better battles than Warcraft or Starcraft. Like the battles are better. But they're
I don't
not
play it for the superb battles. I don't play Warcraft because can't wait for the next fight scene.
But they're not like
that's the limit of Warcraft.
The battles are not really fast like that. They're more strategic.
So also it's like The Hobbit 3. Great. No thanks.
Kind of maybe. I don't think this game's for you. Okay, you could obviously it's free.
I ain't wasting 100 gig.
So you could try it.
I ain't wasting 100 gig.
I don't know. But yeah, the other game that I played was Horizon Forbidden West.
Go west.
Go west. Where the air is clear.
See, it fits.
No grass. But yeah, so Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I got this game like on launch day on Friday.
Hyped? You were hyped for it?
I was hyped for it, but I was hyped for it for the wrong reasons. Because I was just excited to play a new game in a franchise that I liked. Right? I was excited to play a new game in a franchise that I liked. And when I started playing on Friday and playing it over like Saturday... Yeah, Friday and Saturday, playing it over those two nights. I liked it, but I didn't love it, right? I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Did you want more colour?
No, the colour's okay. There is brown in it. I'll give you that there is brown in it.
Every screenshot, man, that I've even seen of it, and I'm like, do you know what? All I keep thinking is, Splatoon 3's around the corner, right? We all know this. It's going to come out by the summer anyway. I think July at the latest. And people are going to go tits for it if they're coming off of Horizon. And even Elden Ring's not that colourful looking. They're going to be like, oh, a world of colour. Anyway, I'll be back in 2 ticks.
Even like a Mario game like that. Like those are big, vibrant, colourful worlds. Like Horizon is not like that. Like it's a real world grounded game that's been taken like hundreds or thousands of years into the future, where the world has been overgrown. Like, yeah, some things have turned to desert basically, and some things have turned to lush, overgrown jungles. Essentially, like the nature has taken back the world. So like all the deserts have gone back to deserts, and all the forests have gone back to forests. Like that sort of shit. And it just so happens to be that a lot of the places in Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West to a certain extent, a lot of those were kind of deserty places that you happen to be in, which I think a lot of it's set in America, if I remember rightly. So yeah, a lot of it has gone back to nature, gone back to the big deserts. Yeah, and a lot of the old like buildings and stuff have fallen down and become in disrepair and whatnot. So shit has happened. Time has moved on. Things have gotten a little bit brown in some places. There's a lot of blue in the game though. Like the skies are very blue. The water is very blue. There's lots of cool lights. There's a lot of neon lights in Forbidden West, like loads of purple and loads of like bright blues. Like this here, purple. Very very common color, this one. Which is nice. Now, the difference with this game, in the beginning part of it, right? So the opening of the game for the first few hours, I would say, is quite linear. Quite linear compared to. Well, I can't remember the opening for Horizon Zero Dawn, but compared to what I remember from Horizon, open world. Like I don't remember any like real closed off bits. The first few hours are very closed off and very linear and story sort of driven, and you're going around like very enclosed environments.
Sorry,
you might like it more. You might like it more.
I was talking to Ross's mum, who's my actual cousin, there on the phone, and one of her nieces, which is basically my other cousin's kids, has had a kid, so I'll never meet them. They're miles away, those ones. And they called their son Leo, and I'm like, there's 2 Leo Kennedys now in the world. Like, cool. That's just funny to me. But probably not call Kennedy though if they took the dad's name.
Probably not. Well, congratulations to them if they happen to be watching.
It wasn't recent. It was a few months. Okay. It was a few. It was a few months ago.
This is you just finding out the name.
I don't talk a lot. I don't chat a lot to family.
But anyway, Horizon, right? Horizon. So I think you would like the beginning of this game more than I did. Because it's less open world.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
That's everything the first game wasn't.
It's a lot more focused than what you.
Is the skateboarding?
Like was Horizon. No, but there's sliding. You can slide in this game.
Sliding's a happy medium. Yeah, I like sliding in games. I do. I like sliding when you don't die. I like to be able to slide. Like.
Yeah. And like it feels kind of cool when you're sliding. I don't remember there wasn't sliding in the first game, was there? I don't think so.
Yeah, you could. Well, there was certain paths that you could slide.
Like a knee slide or something.
You could skid on your legs like in Call of Duty. You could do that.
So you have sliding, and you can when you're sliding, you can use the bow and arrow, and it slows down time, and it's cool.
Yeah, you don't get that much slide in the first one. It's just a quick slide.
Yeah, and you have gliding in this one as well. So it feels kind of Fortnite-ish. Like I've been playing Fortnite recently as Aloy. So it's like kind of like that, but it feels way more fluid than the way like the Fortnite person feels. Way more fluid. The movement is good in this game. Apart from the grappling hook thing, the grappling hook thing is you're very limited to what you can grapple to. So like you can only grapple to like specific points on the world that have like this little circle at them, and you can grapple to those and nothing else. Even though there's like other ledges that look quite grappleable too.
Grappleable? It's not a word.
Well, it's my word. I made it up. Trademark me today.
Grappleable.
Grappleable.
Is it not just grappable?
No, grappleable. Grappleable.
I'm sure it's grappable.
No, grappable.
I'm sure grappable is a word. Like that ledge is grappable. You can grab that from here. And it's like grappable. It's like what flavours your soda in America? Grappable.
Grappable. There's so many ledges that you'd think like, I can grapple to that. You can't. You can
and they're not grappable.
They're not grappable.
So
but it would save you so much time, like if you could grapple to these ledges, because you wouldn't have to climb all the way up.
If anything, you would change how grappable the ledges are.
Yes, I would make the ledges more grappable.
Okay.
But yeah, so other than that though, the movement is really good and fluid. I think they've improved on it from the first game for sure. Aloy feels faster as well.
I would say this: the movement wasn't bad in the first game.
It wasn't bad, no, but like I think they've took it and made it better, and they've refined it just a wee bit, and they've added a glide mechanic, which is cool, and it looks fucking cool as well.
Oh, just like Breath of the
Wild. It feels more like Fortnite, yeah. But
which is like Breath of the Wild, yeah.
Sure. But I mean, Fortnite was out before Breath of the Wild, so
Breath of the Wild did it best.
Breath of the Wild stole it from Fortnite.
No, it didn't.
Or PUBG, actually. PUBG had gliding first, I'm sure.
Oh, PUBG's
because you have
it doesn't, and then you could say Medal of Honor had it first because it parachuting.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a long-standing concept of the glide. Like this game has a glide in it, but the glider looks cool because it's like a kind of sort of force field thing that she puts up, and it looks like a cool see-through umbrella thing, and she slides down. Cool. I'm fucking annoyed it's not in Fortnite because I would love to have that as my glider. That's what it should be.
Because she's in Fortnite. Oh, I need to go on Fortnite. Is Nathan Drake on it yet?
He's there, yeah.
I need to go and buy it. Is there extras for buying it on PlayStation like there always is with PlayStation characters?
I don't know. I don't play Fortnite on PlayStation.
No, I know you don't. But you play Fortnite. So you know how God of War had extra stuff on PlayStation, and
yeah,
I'm sure Aloy had an extra outfit on PlayStation.
She did, yeah. She had the Frozen outfit. Yeah.
So I'll need to buy it on PlayStation.
I don't know if Uncharted does because it's got two skins. But anyway, Horizon. There is still brown in the game for sure, but
a lot of brown.
Like it's a lot of sand, really. Like because you start off like the beginning of the game, like she's kind of away on an adventure and doing bits and pieces, and then she comes back to where you were kind of at the end of the game, like the end of Zero Dawn, and it's back in that I can forget what the town's called, Meridian, I think it's called, something like that. But you come back to there and it's quite sandy, so like, you're in the sandy place again.
Here's a question for you, right? So in the first game it really annoyed me that for most of the game you had to walk for miles until about 3/4 of the way through the game and a merchant sold you an instant fast travel pack, like, and it's got unlimited uses, because before that you kind of, if you'd done a side quest you got a fast travel pack, and if you used them all it's like you're walking, and then like 3/4 of the way through the game where it was almost pointless because everything was focused in one area near the end, it was like, oh look, buy this from me and you can travel anywhere anytime, and it's like, why didn't I have this at the start? Why couldn't I just, like, that is, it feels like something that a pay-to-win game would add, you know, like Pokemon Go with item slots.
So this game's addressed that because you've got bonfires or like campfires that you
had
can
them
go
in
to.
the first one, yeah.
And between the campfires you can fast travel for free if you're at a campfire. But if you're not at a campfire, then you can fast travel to any campfire by using a fast travel pack that you can buy from
bullshit. Why would they keep that mechanic? That is absolutely ridiculous. Why, in an open world game the size of these games, do you expect me to use an in-game currency, not spendable? I mean, just
it's
like
fine.
That's stupid. No, it's not fine. It's stupid.
No, there are campfires. There's campfires everywhere.
No, there isn't. Everywhere. There's a lot of them in Zero Dawn as well. They're a bit spaced out. They're not everywhere. They're not every 2 seconds. But it's still, why in this day and age, Andy, you talk about voice acting, open world games, I should fast travel anywhere I want. Skyrim had it, for fuck's sake.
So
didn't charge me tunes in that, did it?
I'll agree with you for the first game for sure. It was annoying. This game hasn't affected me whatsoever.
Bring it back. What's the need for it? What added element does it give the game apart from a fucking annoyance? Oh great, I've got it. Because there'll come a point where it's like, oh god, I've got to get away and get resources to fucking fast travel again. No,
like I've got.
No one should do this in any game.
I've got loads of the fast travel packs. I've
good
used
for you.
one.
I don't want to use any. One. You shouldn't have to use any, Andy. You're being punished.
And every other time I've just fast travelled between, like, the bonfires.
You can just tell these are the sort of folk that make games like Killzone.
But yeah, I am liking the game so far. But at the beginning of the game, it is kind of slow. I would agree with that. I've seen people say that online. It didn't feel as slow as Pokemon to me.
Because you're bad at Pokemon.
Because I was sure of whatever.
It took half an hour for most people that were good. I spent extra time, it took me an hour. I'm just like 2 hours and I'm still here. I'm like, why? Why is it 2 hours long for you?
But a lot of that beginning part kind of catches you up on like what happened in the events of the last game. So it brings you up to speed. Which, like, for me, okay, it was all right for me, but
Big
like I've already
Devil
played
Machine,
the game.
beat Devil Machine, the end.
Told you all that stuff. Told you about Silence, Silence, whatever his name is.
Sylvian?
Was it Silence?
Sylvia?
Whatever his name was.
Slyo?
The guy from Quantum. The guy from Quantum Break. No, the guy from Quantum Break.
Sleela? Slinky?
It's called Mr. S. It's called Mr. S.
Slan? Slin? Shane?
There was a hilarious moment at the beginning of the game where Aloy is trying to explain that she's a clone to one of the sort of cavemen type guys, and like he just didn't fucking understand. He was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Ah, yeah, like my DNA is because he saw a picture or like a hologram of like this woman. Didn't question the hologram. He's just like, all right, accepting of that. But he's like, why does that hologram look like you? And she's like, like same DNA, like it's same as me. And he was just like, didn't get it. Like, okay.
So this is another thing, right? So there's a council meeting and they decide to destroy like the knowledge of the machines, right? Well, the council don't. The guys below them, the like supervisors, decide to take out the manager. They're like, he's gone, and they kill them all. So that had an effect of making future generations stupid. Like all of a sudden, absolutely thick and don't know anything because they deleted how to make machines. Like if you can't explain a clone to someone in what I assume is the far future because of the advanced AI in it, if you can't understand what a clone is, it's a copy. Just say it's a copy. I'm a copy of that person. There you go. If you don't understand that word, that's what I'd do with Lexi. So it's like, but how that far in the future did all future generations just stop talking to their kids? Did everyone make a pact of saying let's not tell them anything? Like just because the knowledge was gone of how to build the AI doesn't mean that mums and dads can't go, here's what happened, and then tell the kids, and then like what? How? No, it's not. How did that happen?
You think about it now, like if we passed down like war stories about shit to like our kids, like we weren't there.
I don't mean war stories. I just mean general fucking words. If you're saying the guy didn't understand what a clone was, like it just didn't make sense to me, that part of the story where it's showing you the hologram of the council all sitting. He kills them all. So there's still people alive that know what happened and they've lived their lives. Like not everyone built these machines, I assume, and the machines started building themselves. So like I don't know how to build a machine, but I'm still going to raise Lexi to know what the word clone meant, for example, or like to understand like this is what a TV is. Okay, we can't use it anymore because there's been an end of the world. Like how did it come to the point where me no understand word? Like why would it revert that way when there's futuristic fucking robots roaming the jungle outside of your futuristic cave with holograms? Like what?
See if it just wasn't relevant.
That doesn't make sense.
Like, why would you bother?
Because you would still talk to people. Deleting the knowledge of the machines doesn't mean deleting society's consciousness. Like, there's people that are still going to talk. I don't get it. I didn't get that part at all. Like, I understand having... I understand... It, like, yeah, but you can understand why I don't accept it. I'm like, I understand why you had to go back to caveman times, because you had to basically purge, like, machinery. Fine. But why do you then have to act like cavemen? Why can you not just have a telly again? Or, like, there's radios in it and stuff, so why... Like, the future tech's been cut off, but why does that mean that you can't speak about it? Like, what? I don't understand that bit. It's like, no, it wasn't an off switch for society's knowledge, it was just an off switch for the robots. You've just told us that you were deleting the knowledge so that they couldn't pass it down because it was war machines. Not everybody builds a war machine. So, see the mechanics that used to work in cars, did they just all of a sudden go, oh, bug, me no, what's this? Like, why did that happen? Did they give them all stupid pills? Like...
We're hundreds and thousands of years beyond.
But like, nobody talks. Nobody talks. So they're trying to say that with AI machines roaming the fields, there wouldn't come a curious human that decided to take it apart and start figuring things out for himself.
Oh.
Like there's only two of them in this game, like Aloy and the Silas guy. But this is what I mean. Like so, everybody's just went cave. Well, fuck it, we're just all cavemen now, and we're going to wear grass skirts.
I'll take your response, and I'll raise you the pyramids of Egypt. How were they built?
Big whips. And there was no Facebook back then. Folk just got on with stuff. Next question. So they used the sun. Those documentaries, but no, big whips. No Facebook. People just got on with stuff. Or aliens. There you go. Right, but anyway, it doesn't matter because that's completely separate from me saying. But there you go, you're questioning how they did things in the past. But in this world, no one gives a fuck. They're just accepting we cavemen for hundreds of years. Me no advance. Me stay in cave and believe which lady in cave. What? No one... Like, why did you go backwards like that? Why is society not just... Like, society would have moved on. Like, within 100 years, society would have moved on. And it seems like they just stayed as cavemen when this delete of the knowledge... Like, the delete of the knowledge was like wiping a flash drive. It wasn't like deleting people's memories forever. And nobody decided to try and become more advanced than grass skirts in hundreds of years. Like they just went, nah, me don't need silly clothes. Like what? What did all the clothes shops just shut down? Where was the empty clothes shops? Like why weren't they used? And why didn't people go? Do you know what? It's much better than wearing bamboos for fucking socks. Like let's see about this cotton stuff. Like, did all the sheep get wiped? Did they kill all the animals in the world? No, because you can still go out and hunt. So why aren't they making proper clothes after 100 years? Like, it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Sure. I can't be bothered arguing with you.
Because there's no argument. It's true. Society would have evolved, and you know that. But anyway, as we said, it's just a video game full of surprises.
In the Horizon world, society has regressed a lot.
It doesn't make sense. But
they haven't yet progressed back up. Is where I see it to be at.
For no reason. Because but the reason they tried to give us is, we deleted it. What? Deleted what? People's brains? Like, shut up. Elon Musk. Come on.
The beginning of the game is very green though, and they might have done that deliberately because of complaints like you said, very brown. It's very green at the beginning of this game. Lots of jungle environment, lots of trees fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't even say in Horizon Zero Dawn it was pretty brown because it wasn't. It was just brown cliffs, brown fields. Even in the jungle, it was mostly brown without much green. And then sometimes they had white for snow just to spice things up. So it was a very much. Why is this game in 4K? Because I could play this in a black and white telly and have the exact same experience.
Yeah, the beginning of that game is for me. I didn't enjoy that as much, but it was interesting. Like I played through that Friday night and Saturday night, and it was fine. But the game didn't really click for me until I would say last night when I was playing it. Some stuff was happening in the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, right, this is fucking it. Like they've made some changes here. I'm in the open world now. Absolutely loving it.
It's more brown, isn't it?
It's more brown, yes, more brown. It is brown. It is brown. There's a lot of brown.
Texture looks red.
Sure, there's red as well, and there's some green.
Down in my man she runs. It just that reminds me of Snatch every time I hear. You've took notes in this, haven't you? You've took notes.
I took some notes. There's a few because I wanted to note specific.
That's good though. Andy never takes notes. He only ever looks down in the show if he's doing rotas or speaking to somebody's staff member that's phoning in sick the next day. But I seen the way he was glancing there, I'm like, this is old Andy. He's took notes in this game. He's done his homework. Amazing.
So there's one thing that I want to tell you about because
stream's disconnected. Right, we're back. Apologies for this. This is either a Discord issue or Streamlabs issue because it is not my internet, and I assume it's not Andy's internet.
It's called, I think.
So what am I going to laugh about?
So there's a glitch in Horizon. Glitch, right?
I'm not surprised.
And I don't know why this glitch is in the game because this particular mechanic happens in the game so much. I've seen it about 50 times already. 50 times. And it is every time Aloy climbs the ladder, every time her legs glitch through the bottom rung of the ladder and glitch through the top rungs of the ladder.
Not as bad as Cyberpunk where the ladder disappeared.
No, not as bad as Cyberpunk, right? But I would have thought that something that happens in the game like this would be sorted out, no problem, before the game comes out. Because this happens in the game all the time, right from the beginning. And this glitch happens to me every time I climb a ladder. And it's a shame because the rest of the animation for her climbing the ladder is fucking awesome. It's probably the best ladder climbing animation I've ever seen. But her legs clip through the bottom of it and the top. Very bizarre. So
why would I laugh
that's
at
a very strange one.
Why would I laugh at this?
Because it just looks so silly. How would you feel if you were watching somebody and their legs just went through a ladder?
If it was you, I would laugh. I'd be like, he's going down. So I don't understand my cats. They pester them at my feet, and then the minute they want up, they claw the hell out of these. These seats are full of holes. The cats are in the moor, they'll scrab all the way down it. You'll hear thirds of them falling in the floor because they're wanting up. Then I lift them up and they're like, "Meh, bring me down now." I don't get them. Bond's just sitting about doing nothing. But yeah, Horizon doesn't sound good again. How long do you think you've got left in the game?
I might be maybe a quarter, maybe.
Just put it in the bin.
I think it's quite a long game. But the machines are fun as fuck to fight. Really, really fun.
Debatable.
Really
the first
fun.
game there was no fun in any of the machines. The first time I got a bullseye in the ones that look like raptors, when you first hit them in the eye and they explode instantly, but then it's okay, they're one hit kills all the time now, whereas they used to be a threat. And then you get the big sort of jaguar looking ones, you shoot them in the back twice and they're dead. It's they're no longer a threat. Do you know what's worse? A boar when it gets angry in Horizon Zero Dawn.
I've fought a bunch of different kind of like big robot dinosaur things, and they've all been fun to fight except for there's a flying one. I don't remember if there was flying ones in the first game.
Flying enemies in all games. My perspective goes all off. Like, see the eagle things that attack you when you're going up mountains in Horizon? Yeah. I'm like this, and I've used all my ammo. I didn't even hit that thing once. I have to wait till it's basically landed or dived on me and then go pow, 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 pow.
So, like, the eagle things that are in this game, they're kind of bigger. And they can basically one-hit kill you if they swoop on you. Like, they come down and they go, eh! And then, boom, and you're dead. I'm like, oh my god. It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times where I've died from an eagle. But I found a way to kill them. You can kill them with one hit.
Eagle!
Eagle! God damn you! But aside from those ones, like, all the fights against the machines have been really fun. I also did one of the, the tall necks from the first game. They're like the kind of points you have to climb up them. They're like a big brachiosaur, and it's got like
a disc in its head.
Disc in its head, yeah, like that.
None of them were hard, and they were all the same.
No, they're not hard, but like that. The one I've done so far is the only one I've seen. Basically, I had to climb up a dish first to get onto the top of it, and then glide down onto it. But the dish was not configured for me to be able to climb up onto the top of the dish, so I had to solve a puzzle on the dish first to be able to get up to the top to then glide off. Which I loved that. It was fucking great. And I had to kill some enemies first to be able to access it.
Because there was no puzzles in the first game. There was no puzzles in the first game. There was just dungeons, quote unquote, that were like the old world where there was enemies trying to get stuff before you.
The puzzles are, it's not difficult puzzles, it's like this thing needs power, like where can you find power? That type of thing. Like, so you need to go and find a battery and put it in somewhere else. Like, it's not a complicated puzzle. Like, by any means. But it's good. I really liked that. It was fun to do, and it was like a cool moment to get onto the top of the thing and then jump off and slide down. Really liked that. I just did a boss fight last night though. So there was a boss fight against a guy, right? And I don't want to spoil too much here, but there's a boss fight against a man who you can't damage with your weapons. You can't damage him.
Right? You have to damage him with your love.
No, you no. You can't damage him with your weapon, so you fire arrows at him, does nothing to him. And you're kind of in an enclosed sort of environment. And it ends up what you need to do is you need to go over to like this wee console, push a button, and this activates like a machine, and then you need to shoot down parts of this machine to make it fall down. Which that's fine, but the issue that I found with that particular fight was that because I'm trying to just avoid the guy's attacks, running around avoiding them. And then, once I've avoided them, I'll draw my bow out, aim up, and while I'm aiming up, like, it kind of zooms in a little bit. Can't see where the guy is. Can't see like what he's firing at me, whatever. So I'm just like aiming. Right, cool. I've got my aim spot on. I'm about to let go, and bam, he hits me. I'm like, okay, right, roll around, dodge him a little bit more, go back, reset. Right, cool. He's way over there. Get ready. Right, aimed, cool, I got it on, about to let go, bam, he hits me again. And it took me like about 8 tries to beat this boss. And part of it is my fault, right? I will admit this, because I did not level up properly. Because you've got, you earn skill points as you're going along, and I hadn't bothered to I'd used the first one, and I hadn't bothered to upgrade anything at all since then. So I didn't have like the focus shot power unlocked. So once you unlock the focus power shot, that becomes quite a bit easier because it slows down the time when you're aiming, and it means that you can aim and it's the rest of the time's paused, so you can go, okay, cool, aim and paused, boom. Able to do that fine. So I got past the first part of it, no issue, and then getting in the second part of it, much less clear what you had to shoot at, because the first bit is like there's these like glowing red things you need to shoot at, fine, shot them down, and then the second part is like you need to shoot these like little pistons that are basically inside around this spidery looking thing. Those were much more difficult to see. So with those ones I struggled more to get them, but I got them eventually after I'd done these upgrades and beat the boss that way. There's then a kind of annoying underwater section. And now this game, the underwater movement's okay, but that's the best that I could say for it, because it slows the game down quite a bit. Like, have you ever played a game that's had a good underwater section? Like an actual good one that you found fun? I don't think I have ever.
Nah.
The closest would be maybe Black Flag. Maybe. Because it wasn't it the one that they had the diving bell missions? And like that was only fun because and it was side stuff and it was only fun because you were diving wrecks. Like you were searching old pirate ships. That was kind of cool. But outside of that, like even that wasn't that fun. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had fun in any underwater section in any game ever. And like this game's no different. Like it slows down. There's like shit shooting through the water, and you're having to stealth underwater. Like what is this? You could be below a certain level to be able to hide from things. No, don't put underwater things like this in the game unless you're going to make some sort of way to move around very, very quickly underwater, which this game doesn't have. Not at the moment, anyway. Maybe it does later. Maybe that becomes easier later in the game, but it slows the game down so much that I didn't enjoy those underwater parts at all. And I'm sure there's going to be underwater robots that I need to fight later, which I'm not looking forward to, unless they give me some sort of like either breathing apparatus or like I don't know, fucking fish propellers or something to make me swim fast, because that would be fine. But yeah, I died multiple times on that boss, and then immediately after that, having this underwater section, I was not enjoying that. But after I got through that part, there was a big story dump, and after this big story dump, I'm like, okay, I'm all fucking in on this. This is great. Like, loved what they did with the story after that, because they kind of set it up as like you're going after the guy Silence from the first game. I keep wanting to say that his name's not Silence, but I think it is. You're going after him, and then they kind of explain more about the story to you and like what he's doing and what you need to be doing. At this point in the game, and this is about 6-7 hours in the game, maybe 8. And you're like, okay, this is the proper game story starting here. And like, I'm all in for this. This is great. So, and to wrap all that up, beginning part of the game is interesting and different. Ali would like it, but I didn't enjoy it that much. But once you get into open world and they explain the story properly, really fucking good. Apart from some tiny niggles, and some of the things could be fixed, like the ladders. Like shit, that could be fixed easily. But I'm definitely enjoying it so far. It does feel quite fluid and fun to move around the map, and the fights against the robots are great. The voice acting is insane on it, like so good. Like I forget Aloy's voice acting. I think it's Ashley Burch. I want to say her voice acting is unbelievable, and like I haven't even mentioned how good the game fucking looks. Like it looks so good, and I did change it because by default it's 30 frames a second, set to like ray tracing and fucking like all that shit. Focus on what's it called? Focus on visual fidelity. And within 30 seconds of doing that, I'm like, nope. Give me 60 frames a second. Change it to that. It looks fucking beautiful, and it runs at 60 frames a second like a dream, like locked. I haven't seen a single drop. Brilliant.
So sounds awful. So like I've got to come out with breaking news. Jason Schreier, reliable sources, you know Andy, has got a scoop for the first time in 20 years. Call of Duty's going to skip a year. Activision has delayed not this year. Modern Warfare 2 is still on. Next year's game has been delayed, the one being made by Treyarch, to 2024. Sources have told Bloomberg, a shocking move that will have a massive impact on the franchise and the games industry. So if you've got a big game that's due out at the start of 2023, delay it to Call of Duty season. That's what I would say. Because it's an open window if it's getting delayed next year.
Because the people that buy the Call of Duty game every year, they're going to have £40 extra, or £50 or £60.
60, 70, yeah.
So if you can get your game out then and make it appeal to those people...
If EA can make Battlefield good again by then...
Maybe.
You could scoop some of the market back.
It doesn't give them a lot of time to make a good Battlefield game.
Do you know what needs to drop? Do you know what needs to drop at that time slot?
Titanfall 3.
GTA 6.
Oh.
That's the one.
Maybe. I feel like people would buy that and...
They will buy both, but Yeah, Titanfall 3 would be a good one, so it's not washed away, because Titanfall 2 was phenomenal. Really good campaign. And multiplayer was fun as well. I just never sank time into it. I'm as bad as everybody else. I just didn't play it. But Titanfall 2 was overlooked. Very much so. Far better than Apex Legends. Far better.
Oh, yeah, far better. Like, I went back to Titanfall 2, like, during the lockdowns anyway, and, like, played a shitload of it. It was great fun. Like,
it's full of hackers, though, now.
Yeah, there was bits and pieces that less so on console, to be fair, a lot less on console, but you would see it now and again. But it's so cool, like being able to call your fucking Titan down and you see it come down, boom, and then you just jump in it and wreck the place. Brilliant fun. But yeah, that's my kind of initial thoughts on Horizon. I'm enjoying it now, but I didn't enjoy the opening of it that much.
Good.
And I didn't play anything else. Did you see? I want to talk about one news story before we go here. PlayStation VR 2 headset. What did you think? Have you seen it?
Still get cables.
I've got one cable.
One too many.
One cable is fine.
Not for me.
I feel one cable is fine.
Not for me.
So would you not buy this?
No.
I'm gonna buy this. I think I'm gonna get this day one.
Of course you are.
Because I love this sounding. But no, I like the VR, and I think seeing this is cool. They didn't give any dates or price or anything for it. They're obviously
it's at least a year away.
keeping those to review later. I think this could come out this year. See, they've got final design here for it. This can come out in 10 months' time or 8 months' time.
It's not for me. This is going to be another £400 thing. Scalpers are going to be all over it. It's going to have like 3 games at launch. One that's a spin-off of a memorable title. Probably, in fact, it is. It's Horizon. They already announced.
Horizon, yeah. I want it like real bad.
Until they've got viable games on it that are actual games that I'm like, oh, I actually want to play that, not just for the sake of it being in VR. Like, PlayStation VR didn't have anything really that I went, oh, I need to play that. That game actually looks good. I would play that regardless. The
big difference I think here is that they've obviously looked at the other VR headsets, like the Oculus and the Vive and whatnot, and they've built this so that it's going to be compatible. You can tell by the way it looks and the way the controls look. They've built this so that it's going to be compatible with any games that are on those. So like all they need is port all that stuff over. Like, there's good games on those.
The Darth Vader game that is about the only game that I wouldn't mind a go of, but none of them, they're more experiences than full length games, if you know what I mean.
All I need is Beat Saber with controls that actually work.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
You know what I mean, though.
Like, £400.
Most,
fine.
I'm not saying all, because I'm sure there's some. Like I'm sure that Farpoint game was a bit lengthier, but most games, like the Arkham games, they're all experiences, short-lived things, and it's like I'm not spending the price of a console on on a device that plays short-ass games that are mostly the same price as normal games, and it's like they need to bring out a full game that I'm like, oh, and it's only VR. Like the next Bioshock's VR only. Like, oh, I would maybe need to try that sort of thing. But until they do that, then it's a no from me. I'm not saying I'll never buy it, because as I've said before, I've learned that saying I'll never buy it is often untrue. So I've no interest at the moment. If they can show me 5 games, Andy, that are actual games, then yeah, I'll get it. But at the moment, I don't think there's going to be 5 games on it that I'm going to go, oh, I need to play that. And it's all going to be spin-offs. There's no way the likes of Resident Evil's cutting off their main audience to release Resident Evil 9 in VR only. Like, you have VR elements like in Resi 7, but the stupid thing was Resident Evil 8 would have worked the same way, but they didn't give it VR support, which made no sense to me.
It's probably because the VR wasn't like the new hotness at that time when 8 came out. Like, it was kind of waning, and then there's a new one coming out. I would bet you that we'll get a patch for Resident Evil 8 for the new VR.
Oh, and without a doubt, it'd be. I'm not a game developer, but it shouldn't be too difficult to do.
Yeah,
I assume
they made a VR version of Resident Evil 4, like, for some reason.
Why though? The whole thing about it is it was third-person action.
Yeah, but apparently the VR version's amazing.
No, the version of Resident Evil 4 that's amazing, the only version that's good is the Wii version. The end.
Apparently this VR version's amazing. I haven't played it, but so I've heard.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, do I want to buy a VR to play a first-person version of Resi 4? No, not at all. Well, that thought never crossed my mind. Do I want to play a 50-minute Batman game? No, not really. So what do I want to play in VR? There's nothing I want to play in VR.
Hours of Beat Saber.
Yeah, that's fine, but like you could play that with 2 Joy-Cons. Like, there's that would work outside of VR as well. It's not like that would work with the Joy-Cons and Switch.
It would. They haven't put it on Switch.
No, which is strange, but that's what I mean. Like, there's not enough for me to justify what I assume is going to be at least a £400 price point. I would hazard a guess it's £400.
I would bet you that they're going to be selling this as a combined package with the controllers this time.
Oh yeah, they will with 400. They'll be 399.
Yeah, just so that they know that like this is the package you're buying. This
you don't need to go and try and track down a Move controller. And
well, there's that. Plus, it means it gives the developers that certainty. Like my end user has this controller.
Yeah.
And they also have a DualShock.
So I know how to design my game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, for me,
it makes so much more sense.
Does it have like a little mini PlayStation 5 like the PS4 had to power it?
No, you just plug it into the PS5, that's it.
Yeah, because it's got enough power in it, I suppose. Nah, VR's not. The thing that seemed funny to me, like it could be a good laugh, was the VR chat, but I'm not interested in it anymore. Watching the basketball games in VR was quite cool because there's often VR cameras at sports events, like the wrestling did it. I know football does it as well, and like that's cool. Like you can look left and right as if you're sitting at the game, but yeah, nah. At the moment, it's new. They could. I don't know what they would need to announce for me to go. Do you know what? I need this. Even Uncharted VR, I'm like, that sounds awful. Like I don't.
What about if they do Time Crisis?
That's one. Instantly.
Time Crisis, Point Blank, House of the Dead. That's what they should do with these. They should put
light gun games on it because then it would work.
Light gun game. Because light gun games would work perfectly.
And you had to duck, like instead of pushing the pedal, you have to duck.
Yeah.
And then
duck.
up and shoot, and then duck, and then up and shoot. Yeah. Time Crisis would work a treat. Like I love light gun games. It's a shame that they don't work in modern tellies though. Although they would. All they need to do is include a sensor bar like the Wii with the light gun. Like I suppose there's maybe not enough market for it. But if they
made it. They did it with PS3, and the PS3 one bombed.
With the Move, yeah, that's why, because Move sucked.
No, the one before that. The Time Crisis before that.
Yeah, because the gun they released was like a wee mini machine gun. It wasn't like a G-Con 45, and the game was awful. I remember it. It was like Time Crisis 5, maybe a subtitle, I can't remember, but yeah. No, well, Time Crisis would be one, but I can't see Namco doing that now. Point Blank, same reason. They could, but I would rather what they did is just give me a G-Con 45 again and bring it out with a motion sensor. Like it works that way. The Wii proved that it works.
Just don't need it though. Like they can just put it on the VR. Done.
Yeah, but I'm not spending they do need it because I'm not spending £400. I'd rather spend like £70 with a G-Con 45.
No, that's not what Sony wants. Sony wants you to buy this VR headset.
It's not up to Sony. It's Namco.
The reason I think that this will come out this year is because this probably doesn't need the same type of chips and stuff like that they're using for PS5s. So they can get this out this year, 100%. 100%. This is coming out this year.
Maybe.
End of the year.
I just can't see myself picking up day one.
I'm gonna buy it. This is gonna be Christmas and birthday for this year, definitely.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's good. I would say your money would be better on a Switch OLED at this point because the lifespan's been expanded by 5 years.
I already have a Switch. I don't have a PSVR too.
See when I hold my my OLED next to my old Switch when I'm transferring game files over, I'm like, oh my god, this feels so light and cheap now, and the screen's awful. It's not as bright, it's not as colourful, it's a small ass screen. Like, it's the unit itself's roughly the same size. It's a bit thicker, like I learned the hard way. Do not put that in your old dock. Like, it's a tight squeeze, and luckily I didn't drop it or I'd scratch fuck. I put it down like that, and I was like, oh, like there's not much wiggle room here. So there's a reason that they bundled the new dock with that, but I haven't even unopened my new dock because I don't use it much on telly. But because I couldn't be bothered transferring games yet again, because I'm always worried about corruption when you transfer files that way, because it can happen. And I just put my old thing, it didn't do very well, and I haven't put it back in again. So yeah, I can't justify spending £400 on a VR headset when there's nothing going to be for it that I can imagine that I would want.
I will buy it. I will talk about it on the show, don't you worry.
Do you know what will come out, and I guarantee it again? Skyrim Legendary Edition VR. It will. You know it will. 100%.
Now with fishing.
Skyrim Legends Edition VR. You had to hear first. Breaking news. Never mind.
Or
Jason
what they called it? Anniversary Edition, I think they called it now.
Oh, the new one. Yeah, it'll be that, but in VR. Anything that's first person could be a VR game, basically.
Yeah.
Or we'll have a first person mode.
Third person, like Resident Evil 4.
Oh, nonsense. Nonsense.
I want to play stuff like Beat Saber and like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, like unique experiences like that.
Indie games you want to play for £400 extra.
I mean, Beat Saber is high quality.
It's still an indie title. I'm not saying indies are bad.
Would you say Guitar Hero's an indie title?
No, because it was made by Activision, wasn't it?
So like, I wouldn't say Beat Saber's an indie title because Beat Saber. I don't think it matters because Beat Saber is a massive property at that point.
It's not a AAA.
Look, they've got Fall Out Boy in it. They've got Green Day in it. Like, this is a big game.
Not AAA bands either. So
Green Day is a festival.
It was an average
band.
That's a triple, because of names built in old albums, not current music.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
AAA band.
Doesn't matter.
Imagine Dragons. Talk about current bands. Imagine Dragons, massive band.
Are they still current?
When the packs came out, they were absolutely current. So.
Sure. Not for me at all.
But yeah, I'm gonna buy it definitely.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't do anything else.
Excellent. So we'll just finish up there. Apologies for the stoppages. It was Discord issues on this end, but thank you very much for tuning in and watching. We'll catch you all next week, where I will have at least started a bit of Elden Ring, but I genuinely mean it that I won't be able to go ahead. I'm no good at Souls games.
You'll be stuck. You need my help, is what you need.
No, I just wanted. I think
Soulsborne player right here.
I just would rather play it co-op. I think it'll be a more fun experience. So, I might stream some of it on Friday. We'll see how I feel on YouTube, but we'll wait till Andy's got it to play it properly. But thank you very much for listening, watching, however you've heard this episode, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.